For today's episode, I decided to do something a little different. I invited a bunch of my friends over to ask them what they knew about the steampunk era and to just ask them a bunch of questions and share with them what I knew about the steampunk era. My idea is that we can find out about stuff through research and share it with other people, but when we discuss it, we tend to remember the fun times we had, and we tend to remember these things better because we'll remember like, oh hey, I remember filming this. We talked about the steampunk era and their fashion or the technology or whatever fun facts it is they remember. Knowledge, to me, the first part of it is understanding it, researching it, and learning it, but the second part is the application, like discussing it. It's more about the application that makes us understand things better, especially for myself. So, are you guys ready to meet my bunch of amazing friends? Let's get started! Right now we have Danielle.
Yay!
So, I have a couple questions for you.
Yes.
Alright? So, knowing me, what do you think the topic for my documentary series would be?
Well, I feel that maybe this documentary will be something related to our lives or something, like us as very fortunate kids or something.
Not bad. And now we have Darshan.
Hello.
Alright, so you've known me for a while now.
Yes.
And I just wanted to ask you a couple questions.
Okay.
Alright, so what do you think I would have chosen as the topic for my documentary series?
Performance, like music, singing, acting, dancing.
And we've got Kaden now.
Hi.
Alright, so you've known me roughly the same amount of time Danielle and Darshan have known me.
Yeah.
So, rough idea, what do you think I would have chosen as the topic for my YouTube channel's documentary series?
Performing arts. I don't really know. Like maybe singing and a little bit of theater.
Okay, why performing arts?
Because you love it and you mentioned it like a lot.
And now we have my brother. Hi. So I have some questions for you. You ready?
Yep.
Alright, so my first question for you is, knowing me, why do you think I chose to do my documentary series on the steampunk era?
Because you really like the past and you're fascinated about it.
Fair enough. And now we have my Jackie, aka my aunt. She's been helping me out behind the scenes and stuff with makeup, so shout outs to her. Alright, so I have a couple questions for you. My first question is, why do you think I decided to do steampunk as my topic for this documentary series?
Knowing you, you would choose something which will be out of the box. And not a 12-year-old or 13-year-old will think of such topics, but I know you will choose something really, really, out of the box for sure. So I'm not surprised you chose this topic actually.
Alright, so the second question is, do you know anything about steampunk? Like, what do you know about it?
Absolutely not. I don't really know anything.
Okay, give like a random guess. What do you think steampunk is about? Like, or what the people in the steampunk era did?
Something related to like some mechanic costumes, thingies, all those stuff.
Not bad.
Well, I know it involved a lot of mechanics and machinery. It's when machines started to take over the industries.
That's pretty good actually. Yeah, that's like the main thing steampunk is about, because they were all obsessed with mechanics and they had blueprints of stuff like our phones and stuff.
So you mean our phones dated back to then?
Well, they didn't have the materials to make it, but they had the blueprints and sculptures of it.
I know that they made some sort of machines or whatever.
Oof. They didn't have phones back then and they were really intelligent and they had to rely on themselves and their intelligence.
Steampunk. Electricity? Some sort? Yeah.
I mean, they did have electricity back then, right? But they just couldn't harness it, And those who could were considered witches and wizards, because they're odd ones out and stuff. Okay, so my final question for you is, what is the first word, thing, anything that comes to your head when I say the word steampunk?
Mechanics.
Steam.
Okay,
machines.
Intelligence.
Okay, why intelligence?
Because, as I said earlier, they don't have phones to rely on them. They have to think hard on what they want to do and think about it.
Fashion. I've heard of weird fashion sense, but I find it very interesting.
Well, it's actually about the steampunk era, which is somewhere in the 19th century. And it's basically a bunch of facts and stuff like about the fashion sense and their fashion choices, or how they were obsessed with mechanics, which is kind of the main thing.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, I actually chose to do about the steampunk era.
Why?
Because it's a really interesting topic, and I was actually really curious about it at first, and not a lot of us kids are like really curious anymore because of our phones. You know, we constantly get stuff and we can just search it up, but we never actually do like proper research. And you know, me being an old soul and stuff, I like old music, old clothes and stuff. So I thought, why not the steampunk era? Because, you know, 19th century and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I actually chose to do about the steampunk era. So I've asked you guys a bunch of questions, and I've all interviewed you one-on-one. Now I want you guys to explain to one another what steampunk is or what steampunk means to you.
I personally feel that maybe those people in the steampunk era were like wearing some clothing which like maybe look like mechanics, or they're like machinery.
Well, like steampunk was like mainly like the time when like machinery really started to take over. It's like their vision of the future, but they cannot create that future.
What do you think?
I think it's like machines with steam, as in they use steam as power because, well, it has the word steam in it.
Okay, so I can safely say that we all think that they were obsessed with mechanics, or they really liked mechanics and machineries, right?
Yeah.
So Kaden, you said that they used steam to power these
That's my
machineries.
guess.
Well, would you believe me if I told you they had electricity back then?
Not really, because, well, that was a long time ago, I'm guessing.
Well, they actually did. It's just that they didn't know how to harness it. It's like when you have magical powers, but you don't know how to use it. So they didn't know how to harness it, and those people who were able to harness it, they were the odd ones out, and they were considered wizards or witches because they could do something not a lot of people can do. Anything else you guys want to add on?
I guess it was like just the turning point in society.
Yeah,
So is it like the start of technology, kind of?
kind of, yeah.
So they had the ideas.
Yeah, they had the ideas, but not the materials.
So without the era, we won't be having like these technologies like electronics today.
Yeah, we wouldn't. I mean, without their curiosity
That's cool.
and their creativity and
Yeah.
innovation, I mean, we wouldn't have all of this. So yeah, that's it for now. Come back next week for another episode. See you!
See ya!
See you. Bye.
Bye!